Sunday dinner episode of the SuperGen Podcast. As always, I'm Alex, joined by Ryan, Andy, and Brian. And as always, shouts out to Wave Shaper for that excellent intro and later outro music. Follow-ups from last week. Let's get into it. First on the list, Ryan, you added this. Fun fact, while sitting at the table, you want to play Darksiders because of the Darksiders 3 from last week.
Yeah. No, so it intrigued
What was
me.
it about the announcement that made you want to go back?
Just that they brought it up. Because I don't know anything about the Darksiders. I don't know anything about Darksiders, honestly. Okay?
I've honestly never played either of the games either, which is the only reason I'm letting this fly.
It's
this
actually,
conversation.
Okay, it's a sequence of events, though, okay? Because Humble Bundle had...
Humble Bundle
had a PS4 bundle where Darksiders 1 and 2 remastered were on there.
Okay.
Along with, like, Destroy All Humans. I couldn't pass up Destroy All Humans.
Right.
So I bought the bundle for, like, $15. You got 8 games, $2 a piece. You can't beat that.
That's sweet.
And they've just been burning a hole in your Steam library ever since.
Exactly. So
Like,
Darksiders 1 and 2
I never
have been
did play
sitting
those.
there. And after last week, I'm like, I should pull this out.
And they're good.
So right now, it's just
are.
incubating in my mind. I haven't actually downloaded it yet.
Yeah.
But it'll probably happen now.
You should.
Sounds like good stream
games.
fodder.
You
so
like-
look
Possibly.
forward to that.
You like Zelda, you're gonna like Darksiders.
Yeah.
Man. They're so similar.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mechanically, anyway.
You gotta play them.
And since we spoke last, there have been a few video game releases. I'm still super excited about Prey. I have not yet found the key card that accesses the game, unfortunately, so I haven't started that one up yet.
I've
But
heard good things.
hopefully
I've heard
that,
really good things about
yeah,
it.
I heard good things as well. Ryan, you were saying that other people, you were hearing some negative stuff. What was it you had heard?
No, I heard there were not like too many collectibles. I don't know if collectibles are the way to put it, but there's a lot of key cards to find to progress and all that. And it's more of like, hey, let's just get in the game. Let's get a heavy story. Not like, oh, I'm kind of blocked off here because I need to find this key card. And then it's a wild goose chase to find that to progress.
So it's a
that's
game
kind of
where you have to
consensus.
progress and grow as a character to advance through it.
Where
Sadly.
you have to find.
It sounds terrible.
It's basically
Sounds like a
Chips
game.
Challenge, is what it is. It's
Sounds
like
like
the
a
old
video game.
Sounds like a video game.
It's the old Microsoft game Chips Challenge where you have to find keys and then open doors and then like ice
Yeah.
skate
Oh,
across.
so they're complaining because it doesn't seem like it is relevant. The key cards don't seem relevant to the plot, I guess. And that could be a legitimate
Sure.
claim.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't
I'm
played it
excited
yet.
to get an opinion for myself.
interesting.
NBA Playgrounds, Brian, you started playing this, right?
Yeah, I
First
actually played it
impressions.
the other day. It's tough. I mean, there's
Basketball's tough, man.
Basketball-
that's
basketball's
why
a
they make
tough
millions of
sport.
bucks.
basketball
Would you
is
call
a tough
it?
sport.
No, I'm not.
No, go there. Finish that thought, Andy.
No.
What were you going to say?
No. Well, continue.
Yeah, NBA Playgrounds, it's the modern day NBA Jam. But the timing on the controls, like when you're actually going for a slam dunk or if you're just shooting from, like back the court or behind the 3-point line, the timing that it takes to actually pull off the shot, it's very difficult and it's very precise. And I mean, I noticed a lot of people, like, because I jumped into online play, did a couple matches with a bunch of people, and the scores were low, man. It was tough to pull
So
off.
it's funny, like, looking at this game, I was thinking, oh, sports have gotten so serious lately, and there's this big esports community that's kind of building around it, and you're seeing Madden tournaments on
Yeah.
ESPN sometimes,
Yeah.
and this actually follows that vein. Like,
Right.
it is still super competitive and tight
Yeah, it's still
and tough
very
to play.
competitive.
So
Yeah.
it's something that we could see, like, potentially take root
Yeah,
and
I
get
mean,
some legs.
This is still early too. I mean, people are just jumping into it. I mean, it literally just came out.
Yeah, for sure.
yesterday. So once we get better at it, and I mean, once people have more time with it, they're gonna learn the controls. I mean, just it's the learning curve aspect. So, but
It sounds to me like it's turning out to be the Dark Souls. The NBA series.
of basketball.
And onwards to bigger and better things. So we had some pretty juicy seepage this week, guys.
Oh, yeah.
So Assassin's Creed Origins. This was originally
Super excited.
seeped from Kotaku as Assassin's Creed Empires. And it was said to be set in Egypt. This was like late last year, I believe, that
Yeah.
they put out like this thing.
Yep.
We're still in Egypt.
Yes.
But now it's rumored to be Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yes.
And they're saying there is going to be some element of naval combat. So we're hearing like,
excited.
because people loved Black Flag.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hype out there right now for that type of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Besides Assassin's Creed 2, I would say Black Flag's probably right up there with in my favorite Assassin's Creed games.
I
for
love
sure.
Assassin's Creed 2 also. That
Yeah,
was my favorite.
Assassin's Creed 2 followed by
Yeah.
Black Flag.
and
Everybody hates it.
I might stand alone on this one with
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 1 being my favorite game in the series. Because they
I
actually
think it's a good game.
they actually cared about the plot, and everyone always complained about it being repetitive, and they complained about, but like for its time, it was absolutely amazing, and it was one of those things that was like being somewhat of like a history buff and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, it
yeah.
seems like they actually care. I mean, obviously it's over the top and it's ridiculous,
Yeah,
right.
You know,
But you know what, though?
they actually care about their own plot.
Right.
Yeah,
And they leave us on this big cliffhanger, and then in Assassin's Creed 2, it's like, I remember I played it to a point, and I was like, wow, this gameplay is really fun, like, this is more, and then you get to, like, Da Vinci, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna have to cut off your finger to join the Assassin's Guild, and then he, like, has the axe, and he's like, gotcha, we don't do that, that's stupid, I can just invent a way around it, and it's like, you just unraveled your whole plot line, where there was this chick in the future that was missing a finger for the entire game, and all this other stuff, ruined it for me. And then those
one tiny thing about the future.
And those puzzles too. Those puzzles that you had to do, that were mandatory for the storyline.
I loved that.
They were.
I loved those.
They were
just
I loved it.
not anything like
this,
the rest of the series.
Yeah, and it isn't anything like the rest of the series. But I enjoyed that because it brought that little bit of like Zelda-esque stuff into it, which was cool. It was almost like a temple that you had to solve puzzles for, which I liked. I enjoyed that. But the first game was like, when I first played it, I didn't know anything about the story. I had just seen like the original trailer with like Teardrop by like Massive Attack, and like it was just like, dude, this is so sweet how like the system where you can climb on walls and jump across buildings and stuff. That was awesome. And then I played the game, and the whole story just blew my mind. Yeah, because I didn't none of that.
Well, it runs, I guess, deeper for me, not even just from playing it, but I remember reading like the 12 or 11 page spread like in Game Informer when it was still a PS3 exclusive, and I was like, a young kid, like I only have enough money for one of these consoles that's gonna come out. Like, dang, the PS3 looks like I might have to like save for that. You know what I mean? Like, this is a reason to get that. And then when it wasn't like an exclusive, I ended up getting 360. So
3 reasons.
You know how that went.
Meg. Warhawk, where? Case closed.
Gotta get those PS3 exclusives. Yeah. No, they lost a lot of like big third party stuff.
Yeah,
for sure. Heavenly Sword.
Yeah.
Don't forget Heavenly Sword, the God of War of the
Little Big Planet was my thing.
So this, to me, I hope that they kind of bring back more of a focus on story and get away from lazy storytelling, whether it be like jokey stuff like that, or your dad dying being like a huge plot point, and you just have to play through the whole beginning, and you're stuck playing hide and go seek, doing this boring stuff, like just to get to the actual gameplay. Because they did do some really interesting things later in the series that weren't in the first games. Yeah. Like, buying a villa and upgrading it and doing all this stuff.
Which is a lot of fun.
Which is fun, yeah. It's like the mobile game part of it. Yeah. And I almost wish they would just relegate that to a mobile game that's a companion that you could like play along with Assassin's Creed. That'd be cool. And it like gives you in-game currency or something like that. Yeah. But I mean, it feels like it's simplified to that level where you could, but who knows? Maybe we're not to that point.
Do you think they're gonna be like, hey, this game's gonna be open world?
I think they said it was.
Oh man,
did it?
I didn't. Have they not been overworlds? I mean, Assassin's Creed 1 was like open world. There was just invisible walls within the city.
But it was linear,
you know what I mean?
Though. Like it was relatively open world, I suppose. And they have been like relatively open world games, but it was pretty linear in that like you go from one town to another town to another.
Exactly.
Town. So you're saying like a Breath of the Wild where you can go anywhere you want,
pick your direction,
as long as it's not to talk to key plot characters.
I would rather that not be the case unless it's like they handle the story really well. Like because Assassin's Creed has always had, especially for the first 2 games, it was like revolutionary in the way that like the cutscenes, a lot of the cutscenes were literally just you walking around and talking to characters while you could control the character and move them around. That was like a unheard of thing at the time, And so that being part of the game and them really like doing that well is it's integral to Assassin's Creed. Yeah. So if they handle it well, I'm cool with that.
So they ended on a higher note. Syndicate came out to like fairly good reviews compared to Unity and things like that. Is this extra year in development the secret sauce that they needed to get this game where I need to play it? Where I re-enter the series after not playing since the second game. Because they did the whole
thing with Unity and everything where it was like an Assassin's Creed every year. Yeah. And that was a huge mistake.
Call of Duty too much.
Yeah,
Call of Duty
and like because it's just the same stuff over and over again, and they were just like, let's just pump this out because people will buy it, And if they spend their time to make a really good game, they and I know like game design seems to be going away from that, but I want to see more.
It's all about the annualized franchises is to make more money.
Yeah,
so that's a mistake.
Exactly. Which
is, personally, I would have liked to see another year off though. I think Assassin's Creed Origins next year would have been way better.
Sure. Yeah, if they
I mean, you can't. Is more time always better because
no, not always.
they've
More
got
time, I would say
a
that-
lot of manpower devoted to this, and it's almost like you've got like The Last Guardian, this joke game that was
that
in
used a few
development
more years.
way too long,
Yeah.
and just
There was more to the Last Guardian story though than just they took more time. That was a very developmental hell type of a game.
Yeah.
But
They
they've
ran into
got
a lot of issues.
they've got the formula, and they have entered the games industry in a way that it's like, oh, this is like a Ubisoft game element. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah, right.
Like,
Which I'd like to
these
see that go
watchtowers
away.
that you have to climb and
I don't
stuff
want
like
that.
that. Like, even
Yeah.
it made it into Zelda. Like,
Yeah, I know.
one of the most critically acclaimed games
Yeah,
of all time.
exactly.
But they
And that-
they
and that was
Zelda
a great-
handled it so well.
They did,
Yeah.
especially
And they
because it
revolutionized
wasn't
that
just
formula.
jumping off of a
It was-
tower into a hay bale. It was you have like a parachute thing, but you can go basically anywhere from the tower, and the towers actually had like a really useful thing that you can, because you can teleport right to them and then go almost anywhere near them.
Right.
Like it was a really good tool for so many things in the game. Where in Assassin's Creed, it was literally just get on top of this tower and you get some stuff on your map.
Easy bait cutscene.
Yeah.
Eagle.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the cool thing about Zelda is that
So
when you
they
climb those
handled it much better.
towers,
That's a cool
it
open.
doesn't actually open up the map. I mean, it opens up the section, but it doesn't put so many different objects on your map that you feel like compelled that you have to go
Exactly.
to. Which
And they don't
Assassin's
really
Creed
put
does.
anything
It
on
is
the map.
it
Right,
is
right.
big with
That's-
map clutter because that was a big reason
Yeah.
that I stopped playing Watch Dogs 1 and
Right.
didn't really get into
That's
Watch
the
Dogs
flaw.
2
Yep.
because I loved the game and had so much fun with it and had so many revolutionary ideas.
Yeah.
Like their multiplayer, love that concept.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue was there's just too much to do, and being a completionist, you just get overwhelmed.
Right,
and it's
which
the
is
same
my
issue.
which is my issue.
Yeah.
And it's an
I
issue.
felt that way with The Witcher.
A lot of games have that. Well,
Yeah.
like the Fire Emblem series is like that now too. It's like you can't just 100% the
Right.
game because there's like 50 DLC paid missions and
Right.
you can sit
Yeah.
there and
It's
play
too much.
paralogs and you can do all this and it's
Sure.
like, dude, just let me play through the game and then give me all that extra
Who has
stuff.
time for that, though?
And you can sell it to me.
Yeah.
No, that's like Arkham Knight. Like I got everything, and then you need how many Riddler trophies? Like
Over
100.
200.
That's what I mean. And right there,
Over
I was like,
200.
I don't know.
through
That's
the
stuff.
towel.
Yeah, I
That
did-
stuff's
didn't
not
actually
usually
finish
a
that
huge
part,
draw
though.
for me anyway.
I did
Like,
everything
I'm
up
not
to
much
that.
of a completionist.
And maybe that's
You know?
maybe that's an issue with the quintessential gamer that is not in the casual market. They don't feel
Yeah.
like they need to complete everything.
That's how I
You know
am.
what I
Like,
mean?
yeah, I don't feel like I need to complete everything in a game. Like Breath of the Wild, for example. Like I found all the memories, but there's so much other stuff to do that I'm not gonna do in that game. Like,
Yeah.
I'll
had
never
a
find all
full
those Koroks.
experience.
Well, it's
Yeah, I'm never gonna find all the Korok seeds.
for me it's if I love the game, then I want
Sure.
to play
Yeah.
it into the ground
Yeah, I can see
before
that.
achievements, before anything else.
Yeah.
I want to feel like that. And now you have these achievements that is almost like hanging over your head.
Yeah.
Like, hey, remember that you didn't do this? When you could have
Yeah.
felt like,
Right.
Right.
you were like you completely mastered this game. Maybe you didn't. And it feels good to get the achievements. I got Smooth as Silk finally, Overwatch.
Nice.
Headshot in midair with Widowmaker in a competitive game.
I got that,
and
like,
we won the match.
The
And
second
I got an
game I ever
achievement.
played Widow.
Yeah, well, they patched her after that. The scope goes in slower now.
Yeah.
So it was a
Yeah,
different
and I
character
didn't
to get
start
into.
playing Widow
And I play
until
on
after the
I play on
patch.
console, so you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's I completely yeah.
So yeah, Assassin's Creed. Just go down the panel. Are you excited for this game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The year off is worth it because I have not been excited for an Assassin's Creed game in many years. Will I be excited when I see the video? I hope.
I hope so.
I have
I don't even need
a
a
little flicker of hope,
I'm
and I
excited.
hope that they ignite that flame versus
I'm excited
just
that it's
extinguishing
called
it.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
I'm
And I
excited
wanna
that there's
know-
two characters
I want to
again.
know like the origins
Yeah.
of the story.
Male and
from the
female and
beginning,
female
like,
protagonists again.
a
I'm
lot
excited
of
for that. I like
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these, I mean, that's all leaks, but it's all but confirmed. I
Yes.
mean, we've been hearing that it's going to be in Egypt
Yep.
for a long time. It makes sense
Yep.
as far as like going through history,
That
the
sounds
next
awesome.
like big relevant place
Yeah.
to hit up. So,
Cool.
good on you guys, and hope is for the best. Like I said, I want that flame to ignite, not be extinguished. So I'm ready for some official like releases.
Yeah.
Next on the seepage list, we got Far Cry 5, Spaghetti Wildlands. So this
More
is
Ubisoft.
more Ubisoft, but it's one of those things that this is a classic like tale of someone like something is leaked,
Yeah.
and then someone just takes that and makes a clickbait head title, like a title out of it,
Yep.
and then that snowballs into all these people just like coming up with their own perception of what the actual
Yep.
released piece of information was.
Yep.
So all we had was it from Giant Bomb, I think.
Giant Bomb last year,
Yeah.
They got the email.
They got an email that this was going to be something that was set in the West, and in the U.S.
Modern
and
day
then
Montana.
people, in Montana, and people have taken that to be, it's going to be Wild Wild West, and then the next clickbait is it's a ripoff of Red Dead Redemption 2, and then the next clickbait is, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
But so what do you guys think this game actually is going to be?
I'm thinking it's more going to be, like I said, it's definitely the modern day Montana aspect sounds really cool to me. And they were saying that you play as a cop. And I'm interested to see what that is, because Far Cry, you think Far Cry 3 was set on, the tropical island.
Yeah.
And then Far Cry 4, totally different, but kind of felt a lot of the same. And I wasn't as much of a fan to Far Cry 4 as I was 3. I think 3 was the pinnacle of Far Cry.
3 was a great game.
Yeah.
It was a
I
good
100% agree.
Yeah.
And I think if they just redo that formula a little bit with Far Cry 5 set in the modern time period, it could be really cool.
I'm going to say it's going to be the Battlefield Hardline of the Battlefield series.
Of the Far Cry.
Of the Far Cry series?
Yeah, the Far Cry
Of
series.
the Battlefield series.
Yeah, it's cops and
there.
robbers, maybe.
Yeah,
Is it
maybe.
Wild Wild
I
West?
hope
Maybe.
not.
It's more of an
I mean, we
expansion
don't
pack.
have
we don't.
a lot
We
of
don't have a lot
rock
of
solid
information.
details.
We don't know.
But it's interesting. That setting sounds unique to me.
Yeah.
There's no other game that has done that setting with
Right.
that sort of it sounds interesting.
Right.
And even if that little bit is true, I'm interested.
Yeah.
But because the Far Cry's have at least technically speaking, been getting more interesting as it goes along. But as long as they have a really interesting setting and a good villain, like they usually do, then it should be fine.
Well, and I like that you said that they become technically more interesting,
Yeah.
because to me the Far Cry instincts back in the day was super ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And super with the map creator and stuff like that for multiplayer, and just giving you all these different tools, and having different traps and elements like that.
Yeah.
And then there were certain things that held it back, and it seemed like it got worse every year. For that, it was invisible walls, and then as open world became more and more, I remember playing Far Cry 2, and draw distance and enemy spawns were just terrible.
Yeah.
And it was this massive map that they gave you, and you would drive through this outpost, and then you oh, I took a wrong turn, and you just killed 5 guys. Pull a U-turn, and those 5 guys are just standing there again, so you have to go through the same fight, not even 5 minutes later.
Right.
And it was just so insane. So I hope that we're reaching that level of, because Primal got some flack for reusing assets the map and things like that. But essentially they've got a clean slate here, and that technology hopefully doesn't hold them back like it has in earlier games in the series. And good luck to them, More things to be hyped about for coming soon. You've got that seepage just taking some of the wind out of their sails. And then it's almost what worried me most about this is it almost feels like their E3 reveal is going to be more of a clarification than an actual reveal.
It just seems to be more
because
and more common
people are
these
already
days.
expecting, one thing because of this clickbait, and then they're getting something, just completely twisted, it turns out. So.
And I bet this was their big, one final thing at the end of the conference type of a reveal.
One
So
more
I don't
thing.
think they're going to really have any surprises going into it after that.
That sucks.
Yeah, what does Ubisoft have other than this? We heard just via tweet that their new IP, currently unnamed, Project Dylan or something like that, is being delayed to 2019. We're not going to see it in 2018 when we were supposed to. So, it doesn't really seem like they're going to have a big surprise for
You know what?
us.
Here's the thing, though. I am good. I'm glad to see that they are not rushing games as much as they used to. Because they were so along the lines of just pumping out games like crazy just to get them out there.
Case in point, South Park. Where's
Oh, I can't
We haven't pumped it out,
right. So
We're
as
still
they
hope
delay these things,
I know.
I
This year,
hope
hopefully.
it just means that the game will
Dude,
be better.
I'd love to speculate about that for a second. So I don't know, because I haven't. It's been media silence. I feel like looking around for news
have
on
the
this, because
first
it's a game
one.
I'm excited for.
Yeah.
And
Which game are we talking about?
The
Fractured
South
Butthole.
Park.
South Park.
South
Yeah,
Park,
the fractured
butthole. Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think, and a lot of people are kind of looking at the developer oh, you guys can't get it done / oh, you're gonna piss off Trey Parker and Matt Stone. And I think that these guys are involved with that game on a
They're
level.
very involved.
Yeah.
And I think that in a big way, the election delayed that game.
Really?
Because I think that it probably, like, they had sort of like a plot written out, and they had certain stuff that was happening because they're trying to be super topical.
Right.
And everybody kind of thought
It's just like South Park episodes.
a certain girl, a certain
like
woman
the
of
Obama
esteem had it
election.
in the bag. You know what I mean? And then when she didn't, it's like, oh my god, this entire like thing that we've written, you know,
Like-
is
like
just
Andy said,
ruined.
the entire
And
thing
it
with the
looks
TV show,
like,
too.
and you have to sit down and ask yourself, like, do we just release it and it's even funnier maybe because it's completely wrong and it's like this other alternate universe dystopian future or whatever else, or do you actually like get in there and redo big parts of this and rewrite big parts of this? And I have
interesting
no
idea.
proof, and there's been no media that's leading to this, but something in my heart tells me, just because of the timing, like the release schedule for this game and how many times it's been delayed, that might have been something to do with it.
It's got to be this year, though. It's got to be this year.
We can only hope.
gotta be.
I mean,
It's
it was
been
supposed to be
so
November
long.
of last year. So.
I
Well,
know.
wait. Speaking
It's
of
been
releases,
so
though,
long.
they said Kingdom Hearts 3 is supposed to be 2018. There was like a leak on that, but they're cutting stuff out of the game in order to hit that date.
Kingdom Hearts
why-
3 is- Kingdom Hearts
why?
3
I
is
know
next
that's
year.
like what's going around right now. So
Kingdom
just-
Hearts 3
People
will
need to
not be
stop
next
doing
year.
that.
I'm not saying it should be. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying it will
speculation
not. They're not
wise.
going to hit it next year. That's
You
2019.
got to make your money. You
I'd
know what I
rather
mean?
not take anything out. Put that Muppets level in there.
2019.
Nice and big. Dark Kermit.
All right, we got to
will
get
not
onto
let it
some
go.
real concrete news, stuff we can actually look forward to, actually reach out and grab
forward
onto
to
in the future.
That's it.
Kermit's Frog Ears. Elmo and Grouchland.
Dynasty Warriors 9,
Yes.
real news. So this was
Do you think they're gonna
announced.
have Star Wars in like because it's all Disney stuff?
I think it's gonna
That's
be.
what I'm saying.
I think it's gonna be.
Yeah, they're
Star
putting
Wars
all
for
the
sure.
like the Force Awakens.
Why
and,
wouldn't
like,
they?
Tatooine confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Actual concrete news. We're steering the ship. Okay. Dynasty
Creed
Warriors
Origin
9
shit.
announced. Dynasty Warriors 9 announced. It's said to be open world, and we saw screenshots. Takes place in
An
China.
open world.
Just a picture of Earth.
Confirmed.
Yeah. No, I mean they actually said, I believe in the interview piece that I had read, that it was supposed to be open world.
Everyone's
Yeah, no,
making
no,
open
it
world
is.
games
No, it
now.
is.
So this
Yeah,
is going to
that's
be
what
the
Open
Dark
world, new
Souls
fad.
of the Dynasty Warriors series.
No, Breath of the
It's gonna
Wild.
be the Breath of the Wild, which was the Dark Souls of the Zelda series.
Okay, so it's 2 degrees of separation. But I mean,
Yeah.
we don't really know anything else
makes it
about
the Demon
gameplay
Souls,
differences,
which
which
makes
makes me think it's
Dark
going to
Souls was the
be
Demon Souls.
open world button mashing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same, like, I always, I've joked about it on this podcast
Yeah.
before. You got to develop the game, press this button to win, and when you press it, a really cool graphic and some hot chicks come out and
Yeah,
whatever
for sure.
else,
I want
feeds
a
your fancy.
open world button. I want an open world WarioWare game.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
So like that's what we need. And I mean this kind of falls hollow on some big leakage, some things we can speculate on as far as news go. But this is something that's on the horizon. Is anyone a fan of the Dynasty Warriors series? I haven't played one since Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2.
Not so much Dynasty Warriors. I'm a fan of the formula. I like Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. I mean, I like Hyrule Warriors, but I just never really got much into Dynasty Warriors.
Not into the lore, not into the
haven't
game
played it since, like,
itself.
Dynasty Warriors,
I'm into the actual
10, 6,
gameplay, but
Fates.
not.
I never
Not
played
much
any of the
China.
Dynasty Warriors. I
don't know
played
any of
99 Nights, which is a very similar gameplay-wise game.
Yeah.
And I was like homesick from school. It was one of those where I
Mm.
just bought it, used and wanted to try it out. And it was a good sick day game for that one day.
But that's
And
as far
that's
as it
just
goes.
as far as it goes. And I was even like, on like cold medicine, getting kind of bored, like going through it, like at that level.
It's
and
repetitive.
that's what Dynasty Warriors
It's
has
repetitive.
always been like. To
Imagine
me.
It's
that,
repetitive.
but open world.
And that's open world now,
I'm
so you
a
can
fan,
go wherever
though.
you
I really
want.
want to
Go wherever you want and be bored.
Well, some of the boredom there was you're just walking down these narrow hallways in this like dungeon or
Sure.
whatever, and so I guess maybe if there's
Maybe
interesting locales and interesting places, because some of the screenshots looked pretty nice.
That's why I like Dragon Quest Heroes and Hyrule Warriors, because they're so different. And I mean, it's it's established franchises set in settings that I'm familiar with, and as opposed to set like I said over in feudal Japan or feudal China. I don't know that much about it.
Yeah.
so.
Now that we have gotten this official announcement for Dynasty Warriors 9, what is the release window, do you think, for Dynasty Warriors 9 Extreme Legends?
6 months after.
6 months. Okay. You heard it here, folks, guys.
Wait, we still got to get back to Scorpio pricing when that comes out, though.
Scorpio pricing? Oh yeah, we've got our
$2,500.
we've got our bets locked in there. You know, as far as what our pricing is going to be. Brian,
Yeah, exactly.
You weren't a part of that, so we might have to get that from you off camera here and add that to the list.
Yeah, I'm
the
down.
written in stone.
I'm already fairly certain what it's going to be.
All right,
Okay,
just lay it
let's
on
just
us.
say it then.
Yeah, lay it on us now.
Go for it.
It's going to be $4.99.
It's going to be $4.99.
Ooh. That's not a call you want to make on camera.
It's going to be $4.99.
All right.
Andy, I think that might have been yours.
That might have been
Was
mine.
yours higher? I forget. I got to look at the
Maybe.
stone slab that it's carved into.
No, I think when I went from $5.99 to $25.99,
$25.99.
you took $5.99.
I took $5.99 from you. Yeah.
It'd be insane to go any higher than $4.99.
I think I agree,
agree
but if it
100%.
does,
I agreed with that. That's the exact same.
I agree with that, but it's basically what I said was it's either going to be $5.99 or it's not going to be as powerful as they say it's going to be. That's what I said.
It sounds powerful.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Is it sounds insanely powerful.
Yeah.
If it's going to be like 4K 60 FPS, that hardware doesn't exist at that price right now.
Right.
You know, so if they're going to make like,
or does it?
yeah, it doesn't.
Are they pulling some tricks?
Hey, that'd be great.
Are
That'd
they
be
pulling
great.
some tricks.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd
Microsoft.
be great.
If anyone can pull a trick, it's them. Let me tell you. They
They
pulled some
There's
excellent
tricky,
tricks back in the
tricky
day.
dudes.
Good thing is we'll find out in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting close here
Their favorite trick is now you see it, now you don't.
with their games.
Like
With their
Scalebound.
exclusives.
Like
Exactly.
Scalebound.
Like everyone.
Every exclusive game. There we go. And the Kinect 2. Now you see it in the box. Now you don't.
It's not even a port anymore.
Oh boy. Yeah, you have to buy an adapter. Oh my gosh. Okay. Next on our list. So this one, Nier mod creator Kaldane introduced an anti-piracy feature into one of his mods. It was a popular mod for Nier Automata for PC. And this guy's been making mods for a while and has like a history of doing this. But specifically for this, I guess it was like a game fix because it was one of those classic like PC ports where they didn't really get it right, you know? And so this was like an up resolution and fix for like frame rate and stuff like that, where he included a check to see if someone had pirated the game or not, if it was a legitimate copy of the game, and would not allow you to play with the mod if you had pirated it.
Yeah.
So... naturally, the internet was super entitled and pissed at the same time because this guy worked really hard to create something for free that they could download, but they were upset that they had to actually purchase the game.
Yeah.
And it's really like there were some counterpoints like on this like Steam thread,
Okay.
because there's a lot of people who were like outraged about it, but all the counterpoints just like sounded super whiny to me. And I would love to, I mean, does any of you have like a counterpoint to why he should not be allowed to include something like this in his mod?
No.
Or-
It's his creation. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, not at all. Like, I think that's totally
I mean,
fair.
it's
Even then,
you cannot argue the point that he can do what he wants because obviously he has
Yeah,
done
he
what
already
he
did.
wants.
He already did.
But is it wrong of him? And
No.
not
is
at
he a
all.
jerk for
But-
doing that? Is
but-
he being petty? Is he
I don't
being a
think
white
so.
knight or something?
I don't think so.
well, no.
The kind that we don't like getting on a platform and talking down to us.
No.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. You know, and it's funny because like there have been game developers that have done this in their own games where they've developed like things into the game where if you pirated the game, not that the game won't play, but something in the game will be different. Like
Yeah.
your costume will be like a schoolgirl outfit or something the whole game, and there's nothing you can do about it because you pirated it. Or like there were literally ones where they changed all of the text to like the pirate speech that like they have on like Facebook when you change your
Quantum Break?
Facebook
Yeah,
to pirate.
okay.
You know, like it's like
Just an
I think
auto-translate
Yeah,
thing like that?
auto translates everything to
Some
pirate
sunglasses
speech,
I
even though
thought.
half the time it's like like unintelligible gibberish, and because you pirated the game. But they didn't make it so you couldn't play the game. They just
Right.
changed something so that you're not playing the original game anymore.
Well, and to be fair,
it's really funny to me.
you know,
What was the game that actually put a pair of sunglasses on you if you pirated it?
I don't know.
I don't recall.
It'd be good if you stream that game then and you like they know you're pirating because your
yeah,
character's
they
all
know you're
messed up.
pirating it. Yeah,
Yeah, so
remember
this
seeing it like
this
that.
to me, I mean, I have a really
Activate
hard,
Windows at the bottom.
really hard time not siding with the modder on this one because not only, and he says this because this is a really logical argument to have,
Yeah.
amongst his many other logical arguments like, hey, I made it. If you don't like it, then don't use
Don't
it.
use it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Games don't
make
work
one
without
for
it.
yourself.
Yeah.
And then
Someone
even
else could make
he
one.
went further than that than to say, other people, like, this is open source code that I put out because I can't copyright this. Other people have already gone and exploited the thing that I made and created a version where you don't have to, where it doesn't check if you pirated the game.
Right.
Go talk to that guy. I just don't want to troubleshoot your problems and leave me alone.
Yeah.
And people were still like flaming him, and like
That's
people got
ridiculous.
banned off of Steam and stuff.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
And he actually went and like blacklisted a couple people so that even if you had bought it off Steam, then you
They
still would
can't
not
play
be
it?
able to play.
That's hilarious.
Because he's blacklisted it because the mods through Steam in that way,
sure.
where they would not be able to play the game even if they did purchase it with
That's
the mod.
fine because it's his mod, you you piss off the guy who made the mod, he has the right to do that to you. That's really funny to me.
Yeah. And
I like that.
And that was what people were like most upset about. Is it's like, oh my gosh, like I could have bought this game just wanting to play your mod, and then you could add me to the blacklist. And he's like, yeah, but if you're not being toxic and you're not blowing up my support threads and you're not calling me all these names, then I won't add you to the blacklist.
I wish more than anything that we could argue about this, but I think we all agree.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can.
Yeah.
So
This was the quote.
like-
this is the quote that I took.
Yeah.
This is the quote that I took away from it. So this is from Kaldane, the creator of the mod. Uninstall the mod and accept that you're not entitled to everything in this world. Acting like a giant baby because you don't get your way is immature.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And he just has so many lines like this that it's just like, how can
fine.
you hate on this guy?
Yeah.
But
Buy the game
somehow
legitimately,
all
guys.
these people found a way to hate on him. So
Yeah.
I can't believe he even responded. I wouldn't have even
Yeah,
said
just
anything.
ignore it.
Yeah. I mean,
who
he doesn't
cares?
even need that's.
Well, people are. This is like in a technical. It seems like he is he's someone who wants to buy a game to fix it and wants to buy a game to create these like new interesting things. And he's not profiteering off it really in any way. And he's not. But he does like take very seriously his technical support. So like if people are asking and he's concerned, like, oh, I tried to fix this game and it doesn't work for these people. Why? What can I do for future things to make sure that that doesn't happen? Or what can I do to fix this? Or how can I become a better programmer around that?
Sure.
And people are just flaming him in this tech support, like, this game won't work because I pirated it. What is this thing that you installed? It's
it sell them
malware. He calls it malware,
that's-
and stuff like that. Because
Would Malware Bytes pick it up?
I doubt it. Because you have
That would
to.
have been the most interesting part of this article.
That would have been interesting.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, they called it malware because, and this is where it gets kind of tongue in cheek, I guess. If you wanted to be like, oh, this guy's in a soapbox, like it runs a check like to make sure that it installed properly, and then there's a list, like a line item on the checklist that's like,
Install
is this
B.
game pirated or something like that? And then it if there's an X there, then it pops up like a little pop-up window that says like blah blah blah, like close this out to play the game, to something to that extent. And then when you hit the X button on it, it just pops back up again, and then with like slightly different flavor text that is like, well, yeah, you're pirating this game, and kind of like gets a little preachy in that way, like how he told people that it won't work, I guess.
I see.
Within
Yeah.
it.
That's
But-
what people are getting pissed about.
Yeah, so they're getting mad that they're being called stupid or being called pirates or whatever else when that's what they are ultimately. But it's like some people they
here's
don't
the
make
thing.
that connection.
I want to tell you right now, I've pirated games. I've pirated games before. A lot of people have. All right, and if that happened to me, I'd be like, well played.
Yeah.
I mean, like what?
But some people don't.
How can you get mad if you didn't pay for it?
Exactly. I can't even get upset. I'm like, all right, cool, dude.
You consciously
Well played.
know that what you were doing was wrong and you still did it for whatever reason you did. I'm not going to argue with you on that. That's fine. But
Shame on
there
you.
are some people who just don't. There's some part of their brain that just doesn't make that connection.
Yeah.
There's some moms out there who are using Cody and they have no idea that they're stealing. Like, they have absolutely no idea that they are stealing content from people who worked really hard to create it and not giving them any money, and that's wrong. They realize they're not paying for it, but they want to watch the movie, and they don't realize, like, oh, someone is being hurt in this process.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people come in to Best Buy buying these Fire Sticks. Like the
Just
Amazon
to mod 'em.
Fire Sticks to
To
mod
mod 'em.
them. They're not like people aren't buying Amazon Fire Sticks to buy an Amazon Fire Stick. They're like crazy popular because they're so easy to mod and install code.
Which is it is insane to me that Amazon was not. No one was able to sue them over just negligence of not updating their device so that it's harder to break. And I think the version 2 of the device is supposed to be harder to break.
I mean, I think people are still doing it because people are still
totally
buying them
doing it,
and
yeah.
still doing that. It's really
But
easy.
those
So
people
I don't
might-
think Amazon
on eBay,
cares.
too.
Those
is the
people
thing.
might. Well, no, Amazon doesn't care because
Yeah.
they don't have any investment in it.
Exactly. That's the thing. Why would they do that? They have
They're
no
selling
investment
that
in it.
$35 stick or $40 whatever
if
it
they
is.
put that update out there, they would sell less Amazon sticks.
Yeah, they would sell us Fire Sticks, so they're not invested on that level. So they allow it to happen, and then the consumer doesn't realize it's wrong because it's easy to do and because they're getting what they wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And because at this point it is overwhelmingly socially acceptable to do so.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's a problem, but it is absolutely, it's just the kind of thing, like people say I'm downloading like movies and streaming stuff for free, and most people are like, yeah, me too. You know, it's just like a normal.
And that to me is the root of the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're just like entertaining ourselves to death over here because we don't want to pay for content, so we're not supporting new content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we're not. I don't know. We're
I
not.
think Netflix is like part of it though. Only because let's say, hey, I got a Netflix account, you could use mine. So you kind of have that mentality, I'm not paying for Netflix, I'm using my buddies.
Sure.
Where it's like,
But
oh,
they've
these are
even-
technically free movies, and then you make the jump to
I see.
all this stuff you're
Yeah,
talking about.
like that mental jump. Because
Yeah.
it is like
Like,
Netflix
that's
at
the
this
bridge
point.
right
You
there.
have to pay more money to use more than like 2 screens at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And so like they're kind of trying to combat that in that way, but. Yeah, I mean there's.
But
a lot
and
of
it's not free
content on the
movies because
internet.
they're tracking and
Exactly.
keeping track of all these analytics, and
Yeah.
they've already made
But people
contracts
don't know
with the
that.
people.
People are
right?
just you're
they
paying
don't.
a
They don't
monthly
think that
thing,
far into
and you're
it.
just watching tons of movies, just
Yeah.
binging tons of stuff on Netflix, and it just feels like everything else is a bad deal.
And it's like,
Right.
you know, your moms out there in the world are just like, oh, my son put this on my phone and it was on this. It just wasn't on Netflix.
And that's an ignorance
So,
problem.
right.
It's not even, you can't even blame her for not knowing.
Right.
So that to me is like the endemic problem. And that's why people are getting so outraged. It's like, I'm entitled to this game because I found it. I found a link to click and download it. So I'm entitled to it. And so I should be entitled to anything else that's created for it because I also found a link to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is just like insane to me. Like
Yep.
this is going to be a huge issue potentially going forward.
It's only
But
gonna
we'll
get
see.
worse. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and this isn't just Utch being like preachy. You know, like legitimately the issue is at the root, like the more people do this, the more people steal content, the less content gets made because those people don't get money. You know, and they need to make money off of the content they make, or else less people will make content. And you want content, you know, you want.
Well, and
more
where's
stuff.
the?
I want another
here's
Nier.
the and
And
here's the next job.
Yeah.
And this is really getting up on a soapbox. You've got your ad block. Your ad block people out there.
Oh, yeah.
So
Here we go.
now is using the internet with ad block enabled stealing content? Yes, 100%.
Sure. Yeah, just as much. But here's an interesting thing. Google is trying to specifically make their own version of AdBlock. Because right now what people do, a lot of people use like Chrome and then they use like the AdBlock extensions in Chrome and it blocks everything. So what Google is doing is they're like, okay, let's make our own ad block and we'll very selectively block ads. We'll block all
Which is-
the distasteful
block everything but
If you,
AdSense.
You know?
So if you just download ad block,
Yeah.
then it's a beast and it just blocks every single
Everything.
thing.
Yeah.
But if you go into the settings and you're like, okay, I would like the internet to continue to be free. I would like some websites that I visit to be paid for the content they produce. You can whitelist sites and you can whitelist certain types of advertising,
Right.
you know,
But that's more
so
work than
only
most
block
people are willing to
pop-ups
do.
and only block,
You know?
or even know that they could do.
Yeah.
Because once again, you have that
Yeah.
disconnect of, well, I'm not stealing content. The ad was bugging me. And so I don't want
my son put this thing on my web browser. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't see any ads anymore. It's awesome. You know, like it even blocks like YouTube ads. You know, like all the video ads that started on the beginning of YouTube videos. So YouTube Red just, you know, like why? Like it's.
What do you mean? Why?
It's crazy.
YouTube Red is awesome, man.
It is awesome for people who don't block all the ads. You know, like it is. You know, and also for people like if you get Google Play Music, Google Play Music is amazing and it comes with YouTube Red. So
Right.
highly recommended. But yeah, that is like.
This week's podcast
would
is
know.
brought to you by ads on the internet.
media creators all over the world.
Yeah.
You know, like it. Yeah.
So, wow, that got super off. And let's get
Yeah.
into some happy news. Andy, you brought this to my attention.
did I
The
do?
infamous Wind Waker barrier glitch.
Oh yeah.
It exists. We can get through the barrier leading
Yeah.
to Ganon in Wind Waker.
So
Give me a little background.
Let me tell you guys a little story. So in the speedrunning community, there's been this infamous glitch, and if any of you have ever played Wind Waker, there's a part in the game where you make it to the castle and it's all black and white, and then you go outside of the castle, and right outside of the castle there's this big barrier, and this huge barrier that covers the bridge, and you can't go past it. You run into it and it just knocks you back on your butt, you know. And if you could pass that barrier, you could skip like a good 2 hours of that game in a speed run. And a speed run is like what, 5 hours or so?
4 hours, yeah.
4 hours. So you could skip half that speed run if you could get past that barrier. And for years, literally years until about a week ago, they could not find a way to get past that barrier, because so imagine this barrier is you run into the barrier and it hurts you, but they found a way to get past that barrier, and behind that barrier is another barrier, a whole wall, like an actual physical wall that makes it so you can't go farther. Not only that, they made it so that the barrier is actually like a huge cone around the entire castle. The entire castle going up hundreds of feet in the air and down hundreds of feet into the ground. It is the most unbelievable thing they've ever done in a video game, like specifically designing it so that speedrunners can't.
Well, because
get past it,
just a little background, and Ryan, you could probably give us background on this. Typically, an invisible wall doesn't need to go very far, even beneath the ground.
Yeah,
it
because
doesn't.
most
so
of the
there's
time
all
it's
these
impossible
skips
to
that
get to
exist.
those
No, I know.
areas.
You can clip in so many areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They took that into account. Usually they don't in video games. Usually they just assume you can never get to this area, so why block it off, you know? So, like, usually you can clip into a wall or something and get under it or over a wall or do some weird glitch. For example, there's a glitch called a zombie hover, which will be important later, where you kill yourself with a bomb, and then with a weird collection of button presses, you can actually hover in the air.
Your dead body
Your
from the
dead
game on the
body
screen.
will hover in the air, and usually if you can get to another area, it's important. So there are ways to get to places you're not supposed to get to. So they took that into account when they made that barrier. So somebody finally figured out how to get through it. It's this really weird glitch, but literally about a week ago, they finally were able to get through it. But the big problem that happened after that was, in order to beat the game any percent, which is just to beat the game as fast as possible without having to collect anything or having to beat any of the other bosses or whatever. In order to do that, it requires a unbelievable, like, super tiny chance glitch to work. And so you get past the barrier, and then you get to Ganon's castle. At this point, you do not have the hook shot, so you can't get up to the area you're supposed to get up to with the hook shot, right? So the way that you have to do this is there's a vase under the door, like under the loading zone for Ganon, that you break. The final fight. And you break that, and it's 2 fairies come out. You have to do a zombie hover. You kill yourself, and because you're a dead body, it cannot activate the loading zone for the thing, so you have to be alive to activate that. So you zombie hover, you break the thing, and you have to hope that the fairies just fly into you. You know,
so is this RNG based though?
It's hugely RNG based.
So it could just kill runs, just
absolutely. And this is at the end of it, like a 2-hour run,
or 3 hour, 4 hour,
like possibly, And this is if you've broken the barrier. So you can do this in an hour and 45 minutes or whatever at this point. But that's an hour. That's almost 2 hours to leave the last moment to this super high RNG moment. You know, and so many people tried it, and literally about a week ago, somebody finally did it, where they hovered and they got the fairy, and they went in there and they beat Ganon for the first time, and they beat the game, I think, in about like an hour and 45 minutes.
And that's only with 3 hearts.
Whatever it is about like 2 or 3 hours faster than the last run before it, because it is so highly RNG.
Well, here's the thing.
It's insane.
If you're looking at maybe a different category, because this has to be a different category.
This is any percent.
Yeah.
This is any percent. You got to look at any percent category, because this run killed any percent for this game. Because like if you attempt any percent, you are leaving it to like 99% chance that you will not even come close, because you won't you have to,
because you won't do that specific glitch. That has taken how many years to finally find.
Yeah, you have to do that specific glitch perfectly the first time, or else you won't get it, you know. And because everyone who tried it, just if they didn't get that glitch, they just abandoned the run, you know, because why do it if you don't do it on the first try, you know? So if you can beat it, you know, go for it, but it's going to be a while before that gets beat again. But man, it was an infamous glitch in the speedrunning community, and it was just amazing to see it. There's a great video on the whole history of this ridiculous barrier.
Love to see Zelda games getting some love like that far after the fact. I mean, this is big stuff.
This is GameCube, not Wii.
Yeah, GameCube.
And this is I think honestly though, I think they might have done the Wii version because
The Wii U.
the Wii U version because of hero mode and because you can blow yourself up faster with bombs because they do more damage to you. That's why they did hero mode. Yeah, so they could.
So we'll have to lock in those speed runs on there. More Nintendo news on the podcast this week. So EA, I guess this is EA news. They were directly quoted as looking for other titles to bring to Switch. So this is something that they were calling it a risky endeavor, and that the console it would be maybe difficult to get big market share because we already have a mobile device. So how much demand is there going to be for it? Well, we know now.
Yeah.
A lot of people want that. The thing is still sold out.
Yep.
Just about everywhere, as far as I know. It's an eBay exclusive at the moment, as they say. Support your local scalpers.
I want to make shirts that say that. And we're all just wearing them.
So, but EA, I mean, big developer for a lot of different, games, or big publisher, I suppose, is getting on this thing. Earlier this year, we knew for sure FIFA was going to come to the system.
Yep.
But now we're hoping with E3 right on the horizon, we're going to see a lot of other EA titles that are going to come to the Switch.
I don't think it's going to be a lot.
Battlefront.
No way.
We're hoping.
No way.
We're hoping to see a lot of other EA titles. They're looking into.
You know what it's going to be? It's going to be The Sims.
It's gonna be
stuff
The
like
Sims.
that.
Yeah,
That's
and it's gonna
true.
be like a specific
The
Switch
Sims 3.
version.
The Sims 4.
of the
3.
Sims.
They
Or the
can't
one
do
that just came out on mobile.
Sims Mobile.
The Sims.
That's what it's called.
I don't know,
4.5
guys. It's
electric
not that
boogaloo.
much less powerful.
It is though.
It's
It is.
It's a
It is.
fast
Significantly
selling
less.
It's
system.
significantly less powerful.
Yeah.
It's a
It rivals
fast
the
You're
selling
not going to
system.
see Need for Speed.
Yeah.
You're not going to see Battlefront. You're
The
not gonna
problem
see
is all the
Battlefield.
games that they're releasing on like Xbox One and PlayStation 4, like they require significant cutbacks
Yep.
in order to run on a system like that, and that sort of work every single time. We've seen it with the Wii U, we've seen it with the Wii. Every time that needs to happen, it doesn't. It doesn't happen, and I know.
Is there
it needs
any
to happen.
hope
I think Madden will be on there though.
Maybe. Yeah.
Is there any
a version
hope
of it? That's the
of
thing.
just
that
like-
I could play Mass Effect Andromeda on my Switch within the year?
No, Mass
No.
Effect 3.
What if
Mass
they
Effect
ported? They already made it for the Wii U, man. They're not going to do it again.
They haven't finished it for
Several
any other
years later.
console yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
patch 1.06 just came
Well,
out.
that's what I'm saying. We had a new patch come out earlier this week,
They haven't
so
even
they're
finished
still
the game.
working on the game. Maybe there's a couple of guys over in the corner like, oh, these nerds. I hate going to talk to them. And they're working on bringing the game over to the Switch.
I don't think so.
This was my big thing. I was like, they got a March release window. Mass Effect Andromeda's coming out. It's going to come out for the Switch, too. It's going to come out for it. It didn't.
I really
Maybe in like
doubt
2 years.
But
Yeah, maybe.
So there's no hope. We're not going to
I
see
don't
it
think
this
so.
year.
Yeah,
I
don't
think,
see it.
like I said, I think it's going to be stuff like The Sims and similar games like that.
Yeah.
Or games that are exclusive
Some
to the
PopCap
Switch.
games?
Yeah. Peggle.
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 Peggle Switch.
No, it'll be Peggle / Puyo Pop / Tetris.
Well, we've got Minecraft comes out yesterday
Yeah.
when this podcast
Yeah.
airs. So we'll see how that guy runs on there. I read
That'll
Ars
run on
Technica's
anything.
review earlier this week.
I played like
and
20 hours of it last night. So
They
good.
were impressed. They said the frame rate, resolution, nothing dipped.
Yeah.
It's got
It's
local
Minecraft.
Co-op.
Minecraft.
But it's Minecraft.
Yeah, it's Minecraft. You can run that on a potato.
There are tons of potatoes that can't run Minecraft well.
Yeah. The
So.
Switch is one.
The Switch is a potato that runs
Snare
it
drum
well.
and a snare. Brandy.
So we've got big name series coming to this guy. They're gonna put Minecraft on everything till the day
Yeah,
that they
for
die.
sure.
Yeah.
Every
This is
electronic
Minecraft
device
on your
that comes
smartphone.
out.
Yeah.
You can
You know,
download it for there. It's probably the same version.
It's not. It's not the Pocket Edition of Minecraft. It's a comparable version that came out for the other system.
It's the
They
console
said that
version. It's the console version, which is
It's the one
basically
that has
the
Mario
mobile version.
stuff and all that
Yeah,
stuff in it. It's
like
it's
the
Nintendo
console version versus the PC version is like a totally different game. It's like a.
But I can play it on the go, and I can play split screen co-op, and I can play online multiplayer with no voice chat functionality. You know what I
Unless
mean?
you use your
That
phone.
sounds great.
So There's
But you can't install custom servers. You can't install custom skins without paying for them or getting extra like DLC. Any like maps that you install, you have to do directly through them, so you can't install that stuff yourself. The whole point of Minecraft is lost in the console version of Minecraft. It's like a totally different game, you know.
I thought that maybe we got difference. So being creative was the main point for Minecraft, and then for me, a big add-on with that is being collaborative and working with other people. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the survival aspect of
multiplayer
is a big part of the game. It's a big part of the game, and I enjoy that a lot. But like the fact that people can make their own skins on the PC version just by going into Paint and making your own physical skin the way that you want to, being creative, you know, the fact that you can make your own maps and just put them on the internet and people just download them as files and just put them into your own game and you can edit
but
those
I never see my own character, so I'd have to switch to third
every time
person
you open
mode.
up your menu, you see your character. If you've played the PC version, you'd know that.
I have.
So
We should play. I got it too.
When you're invested in the game, I don't know. We'll get the Switch version.
'Cause you
we'll
never
play
go into
together
your
on
menu
that, and we'll
I
be part of
never
the
use my menu
console
when I play the
master
game.
race,
No,
whatever. It's a good game. It's a complete game.
This is an issue I have with
It's
it.
not
though.
missing features.
I have
It
bought
is, actually.
Minecraft on the PC. I bought it on the 360. I bought it on the Xbox One. I have it on the PS4. I do not want to buy it again.
No.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like, how many
and you
times do I
have
have to buy it?
You have to buy it every time.
I might have to get you a
That's what I
gift.
mean.
So I bought it in alpha on the PC, and I've gotten I have the Minecraft Windows 10 edition today because I bought that. So joke's on you guys.
Sweet.
Bought it like 10 times.
Guys, buy it more.
Dragon
That's great.
Quest.
There's
I
one version
paid
of it
for
that's
that
good.
for you, basically.
Yeah, you did.
I bought the
it's
one
all
All
real
about Dragon
version.
Quest builders.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that.
What about Dragon Quest Builders?
I think it's better than Minecraft.
Okay.
I think Terraria is technically better
I'm gonna agree with
than
that,
Minecraft
too.
in some ways. You know,
What else do we have?
Do you know why I bought a Vita?
to play Terraria.
In the bathtub.
Yeah, man.
And on that note, Ryan's got to get to his bath. That is all I have on our list for this week. I always like to leave it open at the end. If anyone has anything to add, anything they want to bring to the table, or what have you been playing?
To go Dark Souls, the board game. I want to hear about
Dark
that.
Souls the board game. So we haven't had a chance to actually play Dark Souls the board game yet, but I did start paying the miniatures.
It's an investment.
It is
of
an
time,
investment
let's
of
say.
time. Yeah, because there's a decent sized manual to the game, mostly because it's a universal game where they don't put text on the cards or any of the components whatsoever. So you have to know all of the symbology before you play the game. So you have to read the manual and know what every single symbol means, which is not a whole lot, but and on top of that,
Andy's not a very strong reader. So.
Yeah, but,
We ran
on
into a
top
lot
of
of
that,
I was happy for the symbology.
yeah. On top of that, though, it is also a very long game to play. Like the box says an hour to 2 hours, which is a blatant lie. It's at least twice that. Not to say that it's a bad experience. It looks very interesting.
It sounds cool.
Because from what I can see from what I've read so far in the manual, basically you are cooperatively running through an area with encounters with like different like hollows and silver knights and all the normal sort of monsters you run into the game. And you kill them, you collect souls, you collect items and equipment, you upgrade your stats so that you can equip certain equipment, and you share the equipment between everybody. When a character dies, or when you choose, you can go back to the bonfire and rest of the bonfire, like clear off all your health and stamina and all that stuff. Like buy equipment with souls, upgrade your stuff with souls. But every time you do that, it resets all of the encounters.
Yeah, just like the game.
Just like the game.
What have you gleaned from the manual so far that we did not know before the game arrived? Anything, or were there any surprises or wrenches thrown in there?
There are a couple of interesting mechanic things that I'm kind of still juggling with, because there are mechanics that sound really thematic, where there's one health bar, and the health bar fills up with either damage that you've taken or stamina that you spend, and the stamina you use to do harder attacks or better dodges, or certain specific things, and you choose to spend that, but it also kind of lowers your health. So it's kind of like if you run out of stamina, you die. If you run out of health, you die. But they just put that on one.
Lots of ways to die.
Yeah, you put that on one track, which I think is a clever way to do it. Yeah. And every round you recover some stamina, which is, I think, pretty clever. So that's cool. But there is also dice-based combat. So like when you actually hit something, you roll some dice, and the dice tell you how much damage you do to that thing, which doesn't feel quite as thematic to me, because it's like it was more of a deterministic game to me. It's like if you do it right, you do it right. If you do it wrong, you do it wrong, you know? But in this game, there's a little bit of RNG, where in the original game, there was less of that. You know, there's a little bit of it, but not as much. That being said, a lot of the dice are hits, and very little sides of the dice are misses. You know, so if you're attacking something, you're almost definitely doing some damage to it. You know,
just maybe not as much as you would have liked.
As you would have liked. Yeah, okay. Which is fine. So we'll see.
It adds a little bit of flexibility.
Exactly.
Just play Dungeons and Dragons instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I could talk all about the D&D, like the D20 system in Dungeons and Dragons for hours. I'm not gonna. But
that should be like
for another podcast.
That should be like our Ken Burns baseball. Is Andy talking about D&D?
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm excited to try it. I've already painted some of the miniatures. It looks gorgeous.
Your paint jobs look nice. Check those on the Instagram.
Yeah,
if you've
I'll
got
put those up on the Instagram. The miniatures are absolutely gorgeous. They're beautiful. Some of the best miniatures I've seen in a board game.
Well, they're just 3D renders from the game in plastic.
Straight up, like 3D renders from the game, beautifully done. So yeah, it's great.
Now, is there any like time frame that the game's going to be actually released for those who didn't pre-order?
It's apparently going to be in retail stores now. So it's like you'll be able to get copies of it in retail stores now. I think right now it's $90 MSRP, which is not bad for what's in there. It's a pretty good deal. But if you backed it on Kickstarter, you know, yeah.
Gotta get your extras.
Yeah, if you backed it on Kickstarter, there's tons of exclusive content.
There was like so much stuff I saw. I was going through the list and I was like, I wish I would.
There's so much stuff, yeah, and they haven't shipped that stuff yet, so we'll see. But I've gotten the base game, and they said that like by August they'll be shipping all that stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah.
What releases do we have look forward to next week on the podcast?
Shrek Extra Large Switch.
No, not coming.
Next week is Injustice 2.
Injustice 2 is next week already. That is hard to believe.
Wow.
What a pill to swallow.
The Surge.
The Surge. Fire Emblem. Echoes, Shadow of Valencia.
Friday. Yeah.
So
next Friday.
Next week, maybe in time for the podcast.
Titles,
probably not.
Man, I can't keep up.
So yeah, hopefully we'll have some impressions on that. I know a lot of people are planning on picking up Injustice. Hopefully sitting at this table. I'll probably get beat down. I played a little bit of the first one, and I'm just not a fighting game guy if it's not Smash Bros. Or Rivals of Aether, or, you know, something where I can knock you.
I like fighting games, but I'm not that good at them.
Yeah. But it looks amazing. Injustice too.
Looks really cool.
Something
Blast
that
Blue?
will hopefully
Blast.
good old Blaze Blue.
Blast.
So yeah, hopefully we'll be back with impressions on those next week. Unless anyone else has anything to add, as always, I'm Alex.
Andy.
Ryan.
Brian.
And thanks for taking the time to hang out with us. Hopefully we will catch you next week on the SuperGen Podcast. Oh, and let us know what you think about the table in the comments.
The panel.
Here's my fork. Cover him up.